Hey everyone! How we doing today? Orcs Rain back again. We're going to start today off with some Stanley Parable. Now we're going to get to the actual Ultra Deluxe portion of the Ultra Deluxe game. There was a door we saw. After we had exhausted most of the endings, I think, from the base game, the door was new content here. Very specifically avoided it. However, we're going to go through it today and see what it looks like. So, when I started the game up, it didn't even get to a spot like a main menu. It didn't tell me to load the game. It just asked me to input the current time, which I did, and then it said, before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. Oh, you're very welcome. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at midnight or noon, whichever the 12 it is, and then they call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. Well, you're very welcome. Game developer? Are we talking to the game developer, or are we talking to the narrator? I'm not sure. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. It's true. We are paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Okay. Interesting. Go ahead. Pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Interesting. I do wonder, does the time affect anything in this? Here we go. Now we're actually at the game itself. Hopefully, begin the game doesn't, like, start us fully over. Hopefully, I just want to make sure that the new content door is available.
This is the story of a man.
We're going to skip the intro. Welcome back achievement just unlocked. Again, I'm only sharing the game screen and not my monitor, so you didn't get to see the achievement, unfortunately. I'll probably have to play around with that. Maybe change it up in the future.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Hey Bomber.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I appreciate you stopping in to lurk even. We are experiencing the second half of this game, so if you're able to even watch, that'd be cool. But keep on with the work. Okay, perfect. The new content door is available. So here we go.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Yeah, what does that mean, new content? Well, this is clearly the Ultra Deluxe stuff. Can I get over there? No. Okay, so that over there is this room, which we have seen many times on this playthrough. Still can't get over to it. Let's go ahead and check out what happens to be in the room that has an ominous red light. We got ourselves on a moving platform. You know there's another one right there. Ooh, loading screen. Okay, here we are. New content in our midst.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Well, that's nice. They did get the same narrator, it would appear, which I was kind of wondering if there was going to be a totally different one or not. We got down there. Anything? Coffee nut. 1951. Interesting mug. Okay. Looks like an elevator.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
There's no buttons.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Which side's gonna open? The side we came through? Or the other side?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Gimme the content, Stanley.
Alright. Okay, so this is already different, right? In the base game, we never saw an area that really looked like this. Interesting.
All right.
The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Jumps. Oh, can we now jump in this game? Well, we better jump the 35 times, right? So I tried jumping right before entering the circle, and I was not able to jump. So I do kind of wonder, will we be able to jump after we leave the circle, or is this just a gimmick right here? Oh, I can't jump anymore. Oh. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. I kind of now wonder, had we not exhausted our jumps in the circle, could I have then jumped outside of the circle?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
All right, let's move on. Another elevator.
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Yeah, so the narrator is very self-aware, right, about sort of the content and what's going on, and I really like the criticism of the current new content's pretty boring. Is it, though? Is it boring? It's an interesting walkway that should be inside of an office building. Thank you for enjoying the new content, it says.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore."
It's true. One of them does
quality
say
assurance
that.
department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Ooh, I got on the chair. He reset the game, not me. Oh, this is quite different. This is our office, 427. However, that outside room is very different. There is a picture on the wall of what the outside room is supposed to look like. Ooh, our office shut behind us, and we cannot open it either. Locked. Probably locked as well. Yep. Okay, so there is our old view from our office.
Psst.
Ooh.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Okay, so there's definitely something else over that way, right? I think we're going to play this how we played the base game. In the base game, we followed exactly what the narrator said the first run. And then after that, we did everything else. And I think we'll try and do the same exact thing here. Crouching. I don't think crouching was used at all in the base game. It was just available. Down we go. Loading screen, okay.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me
Yes.
thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Okay. What secret is he gonna have in store for us? That's a fancy doorway. Not seeing anything over here in the dark sides. What do we got?
I call it the Memory Zone.
The memory
It's where
zone.
I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Alright. I don't see any other, like, pathways. Looks like we have to go up here. Should we check out everything else that's possible, though? Ah, 2013.
You see,
When the
Stanley,
Stanley
doesn't the
Parable
Memory
released.
Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
I like that they have the Steam page over here. That door is locked. This is, I think, the original, like, the first ending that we got, the one where if we follow exactly what he wants us to do, it takes us to the outside. I think that's what that is there. These are probably magazines that you could find just around the world. The Stanley Parable, Collector's Edition. That's definitely an old school box for PC software. However, I bet you the Stanley Parable did not get released in box like that. Audience Award, 2014 Independent Game Festival. Nice. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts. Yeah, I bet they didn't get that one. Good times. Yep, all of our screenshots from the first section of the game, for sure. You can get postcards. All of this stuff. Our first kiss. My first car. The release of Stanley Parable in 2013. Yep. For the actual developer of the game, I mean, this is probably like, yeah. Probably correct. Mozilla Firefox start page. I like it. All right, what is this over here? Linguists identify 15,000-year-old ultra-conserved words. 6 components of a great corporate culture. John Coleman. Okay, moving on. Smile because it happened. It did. Oh, look at that. Vinyl. Their first dollar. I wonder if that actually is a scan of, like, their first dollar. Stanley Parable demo version. Steam achievement. Steam achievement. So I heard with this one, interestingly enough, right? It's impossible to get this achievement. However, some people did get the achievement, and when it was discovered how to get the achievement, they released a patch changing how you got the achievement, and they kept doing that over and over again until maybe it wasn't achievable anymore, but pretty funny. Let's see, what else we got over here? Creators are surprisingly down to earth, yeah. Very humble they are, aren't they? Oh, yeah, there was one of the endings where you die. Stanley Parable deals tough choices. Did it, though? Loving memory of little Stanley. Oh, is that a pet rat? Oh, I can't sit in the bench? Okay. Here we are.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote,
You can read the whole
so
thing.
Many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art. Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now,
Yeah.
it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Oh, look. Portal. Okay. I wonder why a picture of Portal was there. Oh, look. Minecraft. Why is there a picture of Minecraft? Okay, so theory for you, right? In the base game, we ended up in Firewatch and we ended up in Rocket League. I wonder if maybe the original version of the game had different games in it, because Firewatch and Rocket League, I kind of think came out after 2013. So Minecraft was definitely before 2013, and so was Portal. I wonder if they were like in the original, and because we're playing the Ultra Deluxe, we missed out on that bit. Okay, we cannot go in the memory zone maintenance. We got down there. Knowing your city. Okay. The 2 rooms, yeah. Big point of the game. Oh, a whole bunch of different buttons that I can't push from down here. Stanley doesn't really have a face. Except maybe he does right there. Wow, I bet you this is like a screenshot of their development engine. Very blurry. That's kind of neat. The original remake. Okay. What do we got? All of the stuff we've seen before. Lots of boxes. Your number is. You know, I don't remember ever seeing that.
Here's another moving passage,
Source
this time
SDK.
from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Okay, so he's reading a review, which I would have thought where it was here, but this is definitely a different review. I'm not going to read it all out. Too much text. However, here's his time to move on, but the serious room? How do we get in there? That's where we came from. I don't think we want to go back that way, unless we have to go through the basement. Let's check that real quick.
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Yes.
But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Uh-oh. Oh, where are we at now? Steam reviews. Yeah, apparently they don't like Steam reviewers.
God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Surely they were glowing. Unless you've read Steam reviews before. Oh. Hey, there's a recommended right there.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Alright. New stuff is happening now, for sure. We've never been really outside before, and here we are in a full outside landscape. And it's raining, probably because the narrator's kind of upset. Oh, a couple more not recommended reviews. Okay. There's another recommended right there. Why is it upside down?
Okay, let's see what
Do we think these are real? Is
While the idea
Noodle
of the game's
Chef?
good,
Is that a real person?
For someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. To be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Don't worry, narrator. I have a feeling things are going to turn up. Yeah, after
What's
maybe
this one
another
got to
negative
say?
review.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Oh.
A skip button.
Poor narrator.
Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
What if I don't want to push the skip button? What if I'm enjoying myself, Mr. Narrator?
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on.
We're going to
and
listen to him ramble until he
The Stanley
stops.
Parable is a game for the people, and if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. Got the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. Got the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime.
Okay, so did it restart?
It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than
definitely want
forever
to let this
ago?
go on just a
which is
little
why
longer.
I say... The story, and the choices,
I have
or what
feeling
have you,
he's gonna
and therefore,
say
by becoming it
something
is,
different's gonna
so
happen.
on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. Got the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000
I'm beginning to think we
years,
have to
until
skip.
just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It
All
can't
right.
be. It's the only thing
Clicking
there
the
is.
skip
How
button.
many billions left until... Oh, you're back, you see? You
Oh,
were
did you
only
see-
frozen in
I don't know if
time
you
for a
saw
few
the-
minutes, but it was plenty of
clock
time for me
beforehand.
to deliver a long, rambling
But it was
monologue
about 5
full of
minutes.
unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination
supposed to hit the
and
button
more
again.
of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are or were or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made in fact make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both
The moment
affecting
we're
you
making the
and
choice
not
to listen
affecting
to
you
them.
at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look. I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
So,
Treatise,
will
manifesto.
he stop? I bet we have to hit the button again.
Manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
And skip.
Well there, sport.
Oh.
You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you?
We're now,
but that's the power
like,
of the button.
15
the
minutes
minute
later
I start to go
or
off
so?
on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review.
I'm
merely
pretty
because
sure
of
the
this
edit
very
is
situation.
already possible.
Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial, something along the lines of, "This game is the best game." Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix
Oh yeah,
of quality.
this is a real Steam review. Oh, he stopped. Skip.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer.
Oh, yeah,
That
we
last
were
one
at,
well, I
like,
want to say
1:30,
maybe 30,
right?
45 minutes?
Yeah.
It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been amply demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go?
Oh, the door's
Wasn't there
gone.
a door that led into this room?
There
I do
was.
feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see
We're
a
gonna have
window
to skip
anywhere?
again.
A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the
This
wall?
skip button
I'll
is
take
very
any of
much
these.
like the
I
movie
want is for
Click.
us to move on and to please step away from the skip button to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't
We're gonna have to
there?
hit it.
I swear there was.
Click.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
12 hours.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room.
think we're gonna need
Stanley,
to
the
skip
door is
until the
gone.
room
It's
starts
completely
falling
gone.
apart.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything
Click.
else... Oh, Stanley, you're back.
Oh.
You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley,
Door is still
I
gone.
think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me.
Click.
Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so
Where's the
much
light coming
time.
from?
I stopped keeping track after a year.
A
Have
year?
you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities.
You know what?
Nothing at all.
The battery
but
on the
regret
clock's died.
for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a
gotta check
blur
back
of the
here again, of
deepest
course.
longing to undo the past.
Nothing.
And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question.
Click. Oh, narrator is sleeping. He's giving us a taste of our own medicine by not doing anything for a long period of time. Looks like we gotta click it again. Is that the smoke alarm? Ain't allowed. Ain't allowed.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives.
On the
it has come to
the
represent
nature
us. It absolutely
current day
must
gamer.
speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the
We're
human
about to
spirit
skip
they
like
project.
100 years
I'm not
if I edit it
mad.
again.
I'm not mad about any of this.
And there we go. I was expecting to see the building starting to decay, to fall apart. Give us a hole.
The the end, is never 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 the end.
He's going crazy. Oh, here we go. We're starting to get some water leaking in. Okay, I hear the wind, but I don't see an opening. There we go, light. We got light. Still no way out, but we have light. For a second I thought we got stuck. Oh, look, green grass. Still no escape. Now everything's dead. Okay. When can we leave this room? Game. Those are some weird sounds. Aha! I think we have reached an escape point. I do kind of want to see, will the button re-enable itself here in a second? Because I'm betting we just need to leave. However, I wanted to see if the button would let us skip one more time. I don't know what it would do. Okay, out. We are. Can I climb the building? No. There's nothing around anywhere we look. Just our building sunk into the sand. Here we go. Now we can get on top. Maybe? We can't. We can only get on the sand. Well, I imagine the game wants us to go that way, because that's the way that the door was opened. But we're gonna head in the direction of the sun. Oh, 2 steps. What? Okay, we're back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
We have started over.
Stanley
So that must
decided
have
to
been
go
an
to the
ending.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Now wait a second. New content. I like it. I like
good.
it.
You noticed my sign.
I did.
Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okay, okay. Are we gonna go through a couple elevators again? Here we go. All right. This is, I mean, definitely where we were before.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
2? The Stanley Parable 2!
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up.
Look,
Why,
they
there are
even
so many
have,
possibilities. It
Max.
could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Gotta do everything for the fan. Face the sequel.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think?
It is, yeah.
Ultra Deluxe. What
Hey,
does
there's
it
a house
even
on that
mean?
one.
But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Yes. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Oh, the door opened. Cool, cool. Yeah, this is definitely a more new age office, that's for sure. They're back! 2 doors. More the Stanley Parable. Better the Stanley Parable. Win, win. The color red! Oh yeah, yep. Synergy. You know it's gonna be good, because they have synergy. Logo ideas. Ooh.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work
Sequels
itself
are
out.
good.
Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Crab, the ultimate sequel. Hey, that's kind of a cool sign. This way to the show floor. Interesting, interesting. Where are we going? Ooh. The
Here we
Stanley
are.
Parable.
Go on, try out some of the new features.
Try out the new features. Oh. Okay. Merch. There's a QR code. You know, I feel like I better scan it. It's the StanleyParable2.com. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Welcome to the official website of the Stanley Parable 2. A sequel, huh? Okay, so we have a reassurance bucket. We have a no screenshot section. You think they actually disable the screenshots in there? Collectible? Oh, yeah, I like collectibles. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Hear your name in the game. Let's go try it.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Okay, so what name will it actually say? I guess we're about to find out.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is.
I bet.
Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the
I'm
full
Jim.
experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Step forward.
Jim.
Press the button.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away.
What?
Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
Okay, it's gone. Next new feature. The bucket. Let's go do the bucket.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Epilogue? Oh, really? Please, no screenshots. A whole new office. I mean, I feel like I just took a screenshot. They can't tell me what to do. The baby's all grown up, the one that you have to push the button to not kill. The jump circle is up this way again. And an infinite hole, you say? Well, before we do that, we better go check out this bucket. Office decorations and the infinite hole again.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Oh, here's the bucket.
Can you
That's quite
feel
the
it?
laugh.
The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more
they do.
await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Which we're not in, by the way. Also, this is perfect. You know, board members, you must use these terms as often as possible. Synergy, incentivize, unpack, ping, deep dive, and reach out. We do not call, we do not email, we reach out. No one can complain if we are simply reaching out, like a friend, like a lover. Yeah, there are lots of office terms, right, that you only hear in the office, and they get repeated over and over again, and those definitely fit on that list. I wish I could read that one. Okay, so now we have this bucket. I can't do anything with it. I can't put it down, as far as I'm aware. I don't know that I want to put it down. Achievement unlocked. You can't jump.
Most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Okay, let's walk down this one.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration. like balloons, but I'm undecided on get well someday and happy 12th birthday. Which would you go with?
Let's do the get well someday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit
this
another
Stanley?
person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy
course, he
12th
picked the other
birthday,
one.
step-niece it is.
I am not surprised that they would pick the opposite one. What happens if I want to change my answer? The balloons are too much,
actually,
Mr. Narrator.
Maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Okay. More stuff over that way. The jump circle,
You know
back
what?
again.
Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
I did.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Oh, no jumps. What kind of book we got here? Infinite Jest. Yes, that's what this is. An infinite jest. Q. Free achievement. Settings World Champion. The infinite hole. Okay. Right, so we're here. Settings World Champion is back here? I missed it? How did I miss it? $344? Oh, if we restart the game and we put 344 in, I bet something happens. 344. Someone remember that. Check the map out again. Okay, so Z is the merch table. Yep, we've been there. Semicolon is epilogue. We haven't been in there yet, which maybe we should go in there. And there's clearly an exit. We don't want to take the exit yet. A9 is collectibles. Q is the free achievement. All right, let's go check out the epilogue section. I'm really hoping the epilogue isn't the exit of this place because I want to explore it all. However, there is a place clearly marked exit that I imagine is probably the exit. Epilogue.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, we'll go at the end of the game. The end is not the end. Or so I've been told. Meeting at 2 p.m. Sincerely, management. Oh, Settings World Champion is actually up this way. Okay. Still, that did say 344. I bet it's something. Settings World Champion. Is there a setting that I can do to open this door? We have to look. We have to look. Okay. We don't want to change any of those. Not in the audio. Not in the video. Controls. So there's interact E. Interact additional, left click. Maybe we want to try E? It's funny, jump is actually listed, which, you know, you can clearly do. Wait a second. Oh, I really don't think, all right. I don't really see anything different here. Yep, I'm not getting anything. I really feel like there's something in here that, I will open this door. However, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm not the settings world champion. I think that's what it comes down to. Okay, the free, new and easy achievement. I can't believe it's that simple. It just works. Yeah, let's check it out. I don't like where it's going. I really don't want... Again, I don't want this to potentially make us leave the area. The fact that it's, like, in the basement makes it feel like it's not supposed to be a place you go to. They're gonna punish people looking for free achievements. Collect them all! Can you find them?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And
can't
what's
see 'em.
truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Okay, so we are walking forward towards this thing. It looks like a mass of bodies? Oh, yep. Okay, so that is the Stanley bobblehead collectible right there. Zero out of 6. Okay. Are there really more? Well, I'm glad they put us back here, because, man, that's so dark. Would have been very difficult to find our way out.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Just want to click on that one, just to make sure. You know, I kind of feel like we may have actually seen one of these on a previous table. What is E again? E is the exit. Okay, so the exit is actually up that way, not through the door. We're gonna go this way. See what's down there. This feels like not the way to go. So we'll see. Time and depth. Okay. Oh, is this where the infinite black hole is? How deep can we dig? The holy moly. Infinite hole chart. Space. More hole, infinity, science. Falling. Yes, that sounds about right. It just keeps going.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right.
Okay.
Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Is there anything on top of this? No, I was kind of curious as to why it came down. I feel like an infinite hole has probably been done in a game before, though, narrator. How do we get out of the infinitely falling hole? Geronimo.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One
Oh,
of
it's
my more
wonderful, all right.
ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then,
Is the
since
hole at the
you've
top
gotten
getting
to
smaller?
see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
G.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
I'm sure we
Do it
will.
on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Wait, sooner rather than later? Does that mean it's not infinite? Are we gonna find a bottom? Also, the
Okay,
entryway is
Stanley,
definitely
I don't
getting
know quite how
smaller.
to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well,
we didn't die.
Good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely?
New mug.
I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Yes, I am the problem.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
And if it doesn't work for me, we just stay down here. Yes, not infinite hole. A very, very deep hole, though, right? Very deep. I'm betting if we wait another couple seconds, he's probably going to say, all right, fine, the very deep hole. But I don't know. Really don't want to sit here for too long. Yeah, right, this narrator. I really like this narrator. I like the voice. I like, he's just a very great voice actor. And the way that they've written the lines is very, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like. Which is always good. All right, press and G.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
All right, let's move on out. Well, yeah, actually, if we fall down the hole again, he's got to say something new, right?
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
Yeah.
Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positive.
We have to do it again.
I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about.
Eventually,
I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
The hole is just going to be right on top, right? There is going to be no hole.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Yep.
Well, there it is.
We will.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot.
And we're going to jump in it again.
How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at
Because
this
I can't
depth,
jump, I can't get
I just
out.
can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
So I have a feeling. When we return, the hole, right, the bottom of the hole is going to be above the hole itself, and it might actually push the roof up, right? We saw the roof come down from the ceiling on wires, and why did it do that? Why would it do that other than the fact that maybe we can push it back up? The G button didn't work.
Is the teleport button not working? You sure?
Oh, I'm
Well,
sure.
I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
Yep, still not working.
Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
He's
you couldn't
leaving.
bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Uh-huh. At least I have my bucket. Yep. I can't get out. G doesn't do anything. He's probably going to come back. However, right, another option is we could begin the game again, which I believe would put us back in the original office. But we're going to wait at least a few more moments, because he's probably coming back. I hear... Oh, we're going down. Goodbye, door. Goodbye. I like the music. Change your perspective. Look at that. We have the bucket. An up the nose shot. Change your perception? It just changed the music. We'll do it again. This is so weird. Change your reality. Okay, push an H right now. Gave us like a filter. Oh, that one's creepy. Wait a second. Water? Did we stop moving now? Change yourself? Hold on, good. Oh no, we're moving. Puppies! Alright, change yourself. Now we are a robotic Stanley 427. I gotta come back over to this one. We got a space one, a blue one, gray, beach, Easter Island, the pyramids. Alright, hey Bomber, stop back in. I'm sure something else very weird will be happening next time.
Stanley! Stanley!
I didn't
good,
get to change
you're
myself
awake.
anymore.
It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into
We were
dreamland.
daydreaming.
But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
No. Wait a second. Are we gonna go back down the hole again? I think we will. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, loading screen. Okay. Oh, he put us back to the beginning. How nice of him.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
What happens if we go back into the bucket section, right? We've basically reset here. If we go back into the bucket section, can we get a new one? It looks like no. The glass is gone. Okay. The other thing that tipped me off to saying why we wouldn't be able to get there is the button does say gym over there, and in here I saw the balloons. So, all right, let's go ahead. Or we go to the exit. We have to go down and get the free new and easy achievement. Although, before we do that, I better go check out the hole again. He'll surely comment on my insatiable desire of the infinite hole. Oh, the door's locked. They don't want you going back in to see the infinite hole. Okay, moving on. Down into the dark basement underworld.
Now,
of the
here's
free
something
achievement.
special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Yup. Kind of usually how achievements work. You do something that triggers it. Okay, here we are. The test achievement. It's unachieved at this time. Look around it. Here we go. Pulling the lever.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Okay, so will there actually be a Stanley Parable 2? And if there is, will we see this? Because they're very meta like that, right? Gotta pull it a couple more times, make sure nothing else happens. Nothing else happened. Okay. I see like different lights and I was wondering if different things would light up. I think we're done down here then. It was a little anticlimactic.
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Fine, it ended. The mostly infinite hole. I do like that he's updated the signs. I think we've basically been everywhere except... I still come back to that settings master, but you know what? Maybe if we do the 430... 430? No. 344. Wow, I had that backwards. 344, it would actually unlock that door for us. Just an idea. However, we're not gonna do it just yet. Although there is one more thing over here. I thought I saw one of those bobbleheads. It did say we had 0 of 6, right? I want to make sure if there really are collectibles now, we got to collect them. Don't remember where I saw it at. I don't think it was up there. If I remember correctly, there was a painting. Oh, you know what? It might have been much further back. It's probably much further back. Okay, we will move on. But we will also keep an eye out for collectibles. All right, the exit. Those are like Rorschach lot tests, except they're those are boxes on shelving, mugs falling, and some desk chairs, and that looks like a person to me. However, I see that it's actually built out of mugs and maybe a coffee maker or something.
Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I don't want to move on. I wanted there to be more cool new features, Mr. Narrator. Yes, we are number 427. No screenshots. Well, we'll have to do a screenshot. Maybe we'll do one right here. This is kind of a neat shot. Yep. And then I think we'll have to do one in here too.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Screenshot. Okay, so we have more jumps down there.
I mean, there's potential here, right?
Got
It's
collectibles.
Sort of. Okay, never mind.
Name buttons.
Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Is it better?
Who am I kidding, Stanley?
I think it's worse.
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course.
Ooh.
With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising
Ultra
conviction,
Deluxe, maybe?
This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh, here we go. We're now in the Stanley Parable 2. Look at the red door. We clearly need to go into the settings first. Is there anything different in here? So far, I'm not seeing anything different. No. Okay. Back. We're about to begin the game. Let's see what happens once we go through this door, though. Just more hallway. No weird twisting motion. Okay. Begin the game.
This is the story of a man
Click to
named
skip.
Stanley. Stanley worked
The
for a
balloons are
company in
out.
a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Stanley
Something
Parable
that would
2.
forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I didn't try this the first time. This is actually the intro for the base game. However, when it said that he stood up and then walked out of his office, I did it. I'm going to try not doing it. I want to see if he says anything about me just standing here. I am now curious too, right? So it sounds like we're playing the base game, but we're playing it in the new updated modified version of 2, right? It's not really 2. I do kind of wonder, will the new content door be there? If it is there, do we actually want to take it, or do we want to go back down the old corridors to see if anything different has changed over there now? We are unfortunately not seeing anything happen here, so let's move on. Okay, anything new in here? I'm not really seeing anything new in here. Clearly have the buttons, or the balloons, I mean.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So this was something that I had noticed before too. There are some computers that you can turn off. I don't know if that does anything. Hey, look. The bucket.
Stanley picked
We better
up
pick
the
the
bucket.
bucket. You know, this wasn't here before.
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office.
Sure did.
Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket.
The bucket, yes. It is very, very magical. Okay, so this was the new content door, and it is now not new content anymore. So we have a few options, and I think option 1 is we're going to go down
Stanley
the
clutched
intended
the bucket
path.
tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Here we go. Intended path. Double checking for other new things along the way. We gotta find the collectibles. Should be here somewhere. Is this
Still
different?
no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
I don't remember seeing this one. Let it ball up inside you, then take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you, I think. Let's see. There was a post-it over here that said, "Help, I'm a post-it." It's still there. Everyone is unique. You, most of all. One more click. Yes, charts and slides versus slides.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends.
Oh no, what?
That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Yeah, you take that, broom closet.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. Coming to a
Property Stanley.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
All right, again, we're gonna follow the intended path to start here. With the property of Stanley bucket, of course. Gotta check out the executive bathroom. Collectible!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember,
2 out of
no
6.
reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
Oh, yeah, and
You
I will
can't
take
buy
pleasure
that
in
sort
it.
of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Got it. All right, can we open the side door? No. Now then,
Stepping into
in
his manager's
the
office,
boss's
Stanley was
office.
once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this
2,
revelation,
8, 4,
Stanley may have broken down
5.
into an emotional but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew
No.
all along?
Yeah, the bucket
was
did know.
the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
It was the same code as the base game. And I happen to remember it. Here we go, here we go. Another collectible!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes,
I like that.
I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I bet all of the collectibles are going to be on the main path.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
It's a good thing that we have the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Okay, intended path. Turn on the lights.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
We'll
What
turn on the
horrible
monitors in the
secret
next
did this place
platform.
hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I can't remember if this was different or not. There we go.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Stanley's
Bucket
office
had
right there
never
in the
seen
center.
anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
So one of these, up there, 234, right? That one's got the weird blue sort of screen. Never did figure out if there was anything unique about that.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
Oh, no!
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No!
In we go.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Alright, so this room here is the countdown room, and unfortunately, I don't know if we ever actually solved the trick with it. But, we're gonna move on, and we will turn the power off as the intended path desires.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Yep, off we go.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Oh wait, this is different.
Was it over? Yes!
Oh, here we go.
They had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
Oh,
What?
stopped.
Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
I think we're just gonna start over. Sure did. Figurine Finders Committee meeting today in the meeting room. Okay. So we went through the intended
All of his
path
co-workers were gone.
with the
What could it
bucket.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
don't
he had
remember
simply
seeing
missed a memo.
these. I kind of feel like we leave the bucket this time. Although, look, it even has our property sticker. Oh, I don't know. Let's take
Stanley
it.
lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Unfortunately, this is where we have
This
to
was not the
diverge.
direct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to
I'm
be.
glad we took the bucket.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
So if we stand here, it'll probably say something new.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Yes. Okay. One more. There's going to be one more in this room.
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
Okay.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
Yes, so that will take us back to the meeting room, which did have the figurine finders stuff on the wall, right? So maybe we should head back that way.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Yep. What happens if we go back now? I don't think I've ever done this. Oh, the door's just locked. Okay. Oh, this is definitely different. How can we find them? Trust the completionist instinct. There will be a reward for finding them all. What we know: small floating objects have appeared across the office. We have to synergize our resources to ensure their retrieval. There are many questions. Something. How can you tell you've spotted one? What makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures? Okay, so those are the two that we definitely have already. The one in the toilet and the one in the beginning. Follow clues provided by employee 416. Red room? I know where that is. That's going to be at the bottom of the stairs instead of going up to the manager's office. Okay, will that start over? Yes. Maybe we are the collectibles. Shut the frick up. Managed to pick up sounds unusual to a regular office ambiences or local audio sources using an array of microphones, also known as a directional microphone. Okay. So does that mean that the collectibles actually make a sound? Not sure. Weird spinning figures. Ideas. What do they want? Money. Stock options. Or data. Okay, so we know 416, employee 416 was listed here. Employee 421 is listed here. Saw one in the cargo room. Okay. Cargo room. And I think at the bottom of the stairs. Bonus stuff. $427. Why do something they look like? Oh, why do... I don't know what it's trying to say there. 427 is listed there, though, too. So, 421... Oh, I'm 427. Why do they look like 427? Why do they look like me? Okay. Trust the completionist instinct. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless, to be honest. The pieces of evidence. The F-Files confidential. We need more planks. Planks for what? Okay, so this is the two-door option, and it's saying that there's one on the right with a winky face? No bucket? Oh, okay, so the next run through, we don't take the bucket and we see if the third door is there. Produce one plank to allow ease of access past the fence. Construct a bridge to allow collection of shiny float. Retrieve Chris's remains from the warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. Huh. Inside the sequel exhibit. Nearby a fireplace. A private but smelly place. Okay, so we have those. The large room with lots of boxes. Stairs, something to do with stairs. And somewhere both red and blue. There must be a point. I bet there won't be. There will be cleaning of this wall required. Okay, let's move on. We're gonna leave the broom closet alone this time. And go
Coming to a
downstairs.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Nope, I went the other way. Aha! Collectible!
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little
Just where I thought it
Stanley
was gonna be.
figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness
Stanlerine.
that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
Okay.
He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All
So
because
this
he
is like an
believed
endless
everyone had
corridor,
vanished.
basically.
His boss would think he was crazy.
Look, we're
And
back
then
here again.
Something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
No!
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket?
But it says
this is all
property of
terribly
Stanley.
wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically
gone.
grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Gotta find
Could
the
it truly
bucket.
be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing
no.
by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley. Find me. He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he
Ridiculous.
froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on
She's
this
got the bucket.
particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Wow. Okay, so this time, we don't want to take the bucket. We want to see if the third door opens.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
All right, so it said to go over there without the bucket. I don't really want to leave the bucket,
When
but that
Stanley
door's
came
going
to
to
a
shut.
set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
There's nothing here for us. Now, I do remember that a third door opens at some point, but it'll be here, not over here. That's a bit unfortunate. I'd really like to take the bucket to get all the new dialogue.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room.
I think we're getting the original dialogue.
Gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope. Okay, so I think
Stanley was so
there's gonna
bad
be a
at following
collectible over here.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you are lying, right now stop. What? I don't think this was part of the base game. Being able to, like, get up here? Here we go. Okay. Oh. Alright, collectible.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've
One
nearly
more.
gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one.
That name's not a
and
good
then
one.
the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
So if I just jump off, I am sure to die, right? That is an ending. You want to check this way, though. Where are we?
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path.
Okay, then.
That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
Narrator
So far
dialogue.
off the beaten path
Dur-
that it seemed the office had begun. So
Dick
far off the
Hogan?
beaten
I'm not sure.
path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the
I
beaten
have to,
path that it seemed
stop
the
it.
office had begun.
But before you do that, I just want to double check there's nothing
that
else
it
in
seemed
here.
the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
And back to the beginning. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So 421. Where's 421 at? Because that was one of the numbers. For a collectible, I think. Also, we're taking the bucket.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
You know, and 416 was also listed, but that is the new content door. Yep, okay. Okay, so we have a difference again. Where did the blue room come from? What does the blue room, like, hallway mean? I don't know.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No, Stanley did not. Trying to decide, do we want
This
to
was
go
not the correct way to
downstairs
the meeting
first?
room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
So we have a couple options. We can go down the elevator, or we can take the lift across. There's actually 3 options here, because when you take the lift across, you can drop onto that platform. That's what we're going to do.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Okay, so one of the endings is falling to your death. I kind of want to do it with the bucket to see if there's dialogue about the bucket telling you to jump.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why, but Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Back again.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Okay, this time we're going to
don't
jump
go
off
to the
onto
meeting
the
room. Go somewhere else.
platform.
The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
No, that would have been going up there.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, No buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly.
I'm sure.
So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Oh, this is definitely new, because I'm fairly certain that is actually the way that you go when you come here normally. So it also does make me wonder, is potentially there's something new through this door if you don't have the bucket. It's so dark in here. Is
Now
this
then,
a bucket?
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
We're gonna get them all right, but I wonder what happens if you get them all wrong.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not
Now,
an actual
a
bucket.
3D printed recreation would still be the original thing. The hologram, though,
Item 3.
wouldn't really be a bucket.
Is this a bucket? Correct.
Ah!
This is a bucket.
We're gonna have to come back here, though, and do one where we get them all right and all wrong. So no,
Item
yes.
4. Is this a bucket? Correct. This
No,
is a tractor
yes,
and
no.
not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
What? No. Yes, no,
Item
yes.
6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Okay.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
We'll give him a second to see if he can find it.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless, is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No, not the buckets.
Okay, here we go.
No.
What happened? Is everything gone?
Everything was
Why
a
did
bucket.
everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Okay, we're back.
All
still
of his
haven't got the
co-workers were
line
gone.
yet.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Stanley did not. This time we're going to ride the thing
Said
across.
the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
So in the base game, the narrator is desperately trying to convince you that you should go this way.
Now pick up the phone,
Said the bucket.
pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
That's right, this takes us back to your apartment, or whatever.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
427B. Alright, so is there anything out here? We have a wall. Okay. There's a button. I gotta push it, right? Why would they put this here? Okay. This is a very different apartment than what the base game had. Much larger. So far, nothing to interact with, except there's the bucket. It's me, your bucket. Press N to take me to work with you. Yes, in just a moment. Right, want to make sure nothing else happens. Okay, N.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Okay, so this is back to our office, and there's the bucket. You to take me back home with you. We will. 1 second. Oh, I can't turn that computer off. Okay.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. F to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from, me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket, this stupid hunk of metal.
There it is. M to ignore anyone in your life except for me.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press I to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press K to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press F to go home, to work, to home, to work, to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Trying to read what that says over here. Oh, it's a radio clock. 13. So that clock has something on it, whereas... Oh, okay, we got out. The one out here, I've noticed every single time, has still been 0, 0, 0, 0.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Close your eyes. Okay. Go back to work, Stanley. Ow.
All
Alright,
of his
here we go again.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Wait.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The hallway usually turns right, not left. Let me just double check the rest of these areas now. Because we clearly have a difference.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find... Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Okay. Bucket.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together.
Yup. We're gonna go down in the basement this time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Oh, I know.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
And then we click the elevator. Down we go. Down, down, down.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh! Hey, look, it's the line!
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Hold on, is there anything new in the broom closet? Would appear not. Nothing new with any of this stuff. This is your wife, by the way. The baby. It did say that the baby had grown up and that there's probably a new mini game with the grown-up version of the baby. Okay. Let's see.
Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
It did play music last time. Three-factor Bay 6, small asset import. Raw assets, the only map. Like it.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
That's not from the original.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No, we are not giving up the bucket. What is that? Can't quite read it. It's like the sat and something comes. I don't know. Interesting though. Definitely different. Okay. Nothing. Nothing. We're not giving up the bucket though. Oh. Wait a second. In the collectible meeting room, right, we saw there was a door on the left, there was a door on the right, and it said you could go through the door over here if you didn't have the bucket. I do wonder if somehow we came down here without the bucket, if this would be opened. We might have to check that out. Although, I do still kind of think that A, B, and third option was the original two-door section, so I don't know.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No?
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Yeesh.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Nope. Nope, I
Can
don't
you
agree.
guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Nope.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and crush.
Nope. I think we hit a end.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spell-binding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Something different's gonna have to happen though, right? If you do actually destroy the bucket. There are just so many, like, small, I think, choices you can do. Oh, okay, we're in a difference again here. Look at this. Blue room. Do not believe we have seen this at all.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait. Let's not open that yet. It said, welcome to the whiteboard ending. So
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
We're peeking. Peeking? Doesn't look like there's anything over there. We have the bucket right here.
Where are we going today?
And we're going to go in the whiteboard ending.
Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Welcome to the whiteboard ending! Dog mode. Oh man, now every time I click, it barks. I want to leave it on, but I'm afraid it's gonna get annoying. Okay. I'm a little surprised that this didn't actually, like, cause an ending, though. Okay. I still bark.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Nope, this time we're gonna crush the
This was not
bucket.
the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Down we go. I do wonder if the meeting room has any new information now about the collectible,
good, Stanley.
the one that's
I'm
remaining.
glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Yep.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
That's a Pennsylvania license plate. Pretty sure.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
And this time we will.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
Yup.
Surely you don't need me to
spell it out. It's gonna destroy our bucket. Or maybe the bucket's gonna destroy it.
Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I can't do it?
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows.
A little disappointing.
That is its singular personality trait.
I wanted to put it in.
Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting.
We
Do
have
it,
hit the same
fans,
ending again,
Stanley.
which is
Give
fine.
the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Boom. White screen. You know, I wonder, will we
Bucket
have the
destroyer.
blue room outside
My
of our office
prized
again?
creation. You had
We
so
might.
much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Truly. One of the good ones. We do not have the blue room. Okay.
All of his co-workers were
So-
gone. What could it mean?
We could go down...
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hey,
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he
I don't
couldn't find a trace
I think I've
of
ever
his
seen this one
co-workers.
before. All of the computers say that? Not that one. So we could go back down in the basement without the bucket and then see if there is new content down there when you don't have the bucket. Or if it goes, you know, reverse back to the original. Can I give it more input? Oh, I also don't bark anymore. Okay. Let's go down the escape path.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
We did. I really should be checking these doors though. Okay. Good. Okay, so it has slightly updated, right? Somewhere, both red and blue. Don't remember a both red and blue place exactly? Looking for a clue somewhere. Why is the E yellow? So we got the one in cargo room. Not really seeing any other clues just yet, other than red and blue. Trying to read that. Decide whether to investigate. If necessary, take immediate action. Choose an investigator. Plan the investigation. Conduct interviews. Gather documents, clues, evidence. Evaluate those documents, clues, and evidence, and then take action. Document and print your list. Puppy dog salary. How about that? Collecting is sexy. Beware the false prophet. Stuck on the chairs. Okay. What's over here? Any other clues? A possible clue on a water slide? So that one says approximately here, and it's definitely a stack of boxes on shelves, which is probably one we already got. The water slide, though, I don't know what that means at all. You know, employee 416 is still listed there. Somewhere both red and blue. I guess we have to just move on.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
You know, we got one here. Let's see if it comes back by chance. No. I was actually more wondering if there was something new going to be in there. This is also a room that was locked the last time we were up here. And if I remember correctly, there's nothing actually to do in here other than you can take the elevator, but it's just music. It doesn't matter if you click up or down. It will do the same thing in both situations. Plays music. Makes you think it's going somewhere, but in reality, it's not. Narrator starts singing to this a little bit.
Step forward.
We click the button and it lets us back off in the same location.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation,
don't think
Stanley
there's
may
any
have broken
differences
down into
in
an
here.
emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always,
We're gonna let the
The bucket
dialogue
would.
play out a second.
and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss
did
of
notice it,
simply
though.
being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
So when you take the escape path, do you think that's how we got to the museum level? So there could be something new there for sure.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind
There's also the
Control
countdown
Facility.
And maybe the bucket can help us with the countdown ending. But I think we'll try that one out in another go.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Yep. That is what will
The
happen.
door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Yep. Down we go. Maybe we will find blue and red here. This is also where the second narrator comes into play. See if the second
As the
narrator
machine
has
whirred
anything
into
interesting
motion
to say
and
about
Stanley
the
and the
bucket.
bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Here it comes!
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Right.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this
I don't
one
have the bucket
stood
anymore.
above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Is it gonna be a museum dedicated only to the bucket? It's gonna be. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within a cavernous void, but through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness?
Can you see how
string it came down
arrogant it
from?
was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Can we get up there? Will the bucket disappear, or is it going to stop up there? It looks to me like it has stopped. Okay. Buckets. Lots of buckets. 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets. The greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. That is more than 25 buckets. Sure. We will go that way in just a moment. What do we got over here? A bucket with two handles. This bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. This is the Da Vinci's Man. Have a wooden bucket. Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains no one can control a bucket. Oh, I can't take it. We have a left path and a right path. Let's check the right one real quick, because, yeah, dead end. The stress bucket presented without commentary. The stress bucket, an analogy, worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, and lack of reassurance, they all go in the bucket. Vulnerability equals the size and strength of the bucket. Turn the spigot on, you get coping strategies, which are holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. This is just ridiculous. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. But it did not judge the deer as ready.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Oh, here's our bucket. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However, clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. Hey, look! It's the infinite hole. We have refound it. It's time to jump into the infinite hole that is totally not infinite. Oh wait. I'm floating. thought we were going to fall in the infinite hole.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world.
Okay. The sequel is now paused. So, in the base game, when we got to this point, this narrator, who is only in this section of the game, had told us that there was a way, right? There was a way to save yourself. Enter the menu and hit the start over button, which says begin the game again, which I don't think is what it said in the base game. Now, though, she's saying the opposite. Let Stanley die. We did let Stanley die the first time, and I think we're going to let Stanley die again in this time. See,
A new vision.
if anything different happened, I don't think so. Right, I don't think so. Back we are. Okay. Now.
All of his co-workers were gone.
We got to find the last collectible.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
The
Perhaps
game
he had
developers
simply
wouldn't be
missed a
so
memo.
mean as to not put the collectible in the game, right? We're going to leave the bucket because the meeting room...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered
Yeah.
the door on his left.
The meeting room said, right, when you have A and B, there is another door, but you can't have the bucket. And we're here now. Just click all the walls just to make sure, but there is a point in the game when doors open up here. And I think in order to do it, we have to go in the basement without the bucket. So we're
This
gonna
was
try
not
that.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Also, maybe if we found
It was
employee
okay.
416's room?
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Double check these ones. Nothing. Okay. Back here we are.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section.
When we have the
walked
bucket in our
straight
hand
ahead
and we
to
go
the
down
opposite
this
door,
elevator,
and got back on
we get the
track.
intervention with all the original characters of the game. So what are we going to get without the bucket?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about
I
and
think
get
this is
even
the original-
further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go
Yeah.
This
This is the original.
It's left.
And then we get close and he shuts the
Oh
door on
no,
us.
no, it's to the right. My mistake.
I wonder if there's a way to get in there quick.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
We're gonna try and speed through this section, I think.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now.
I
The
still
whole
can't read
story
Clippy up
completely
there.
unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
All right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
Oh,
go
we
to the
don't have
meeting
the
room.
bucket now.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, actually, that's probably a good sign. I think we're on the way towards the collectible. Here we are.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
We want to go
No,
in this door.
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold
One
on.
other thing I want to check
Why am
is
I
if
asking
I hit
you?
escape, We are still in the sequel.
one who wrote the story
I feel like that's
was
important.
right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's
They
here
make you
somewhere.
believe
Okay,
that you've
then.
gone back to original
It's an
content.
adventure.
But I think it's going
Come,
to be
Stanley.
different.
Let's find the story.
All right, so I'm fairly certain it said to go this way. Oh, and you know what? I think there's a time limit on this one, as in, like, there was a room over there, but I feel like if you just keep wandering, eventually he will reset. Because this seems to go on forever.
I'll say it. This is the worst
no.
adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to
No.
restart the game again?
Don't.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by
Don't.
starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this.
Hey, we found our way over
Okay,
here.
let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay. We're still going to be without the bucket, I
All of his
imagine.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to get reset
Do you
here,
remember,
too.
Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Ooh, the Stanley Parable 2 adventure line. I like it.
All right,
There's
I've
a
got a
left
solution.
path.
This
No,
time, to
maybe?
make sure we
Maybe
don't
not.
get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Yes. We're going to explore this way real quick. Right. Okay. I am very happy, though, that they put the Stanley Parable 2 adventure line there, because it gives you the indication that you aren't just replaying the original stuff.
You
So
see,
hopefully-
the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction.
Right, we are
Onward,
looking
Stanley,
for
to
blue
destiny.
and red.
Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to
We just
follow
went
this
around
train
in
of
a
thought for a
loop.
minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right?
Okay, the line has now
Okay.
started to get
Now,
drunk.
if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like
I think
to
we're about to get
apologize.
the crazy music,
Not sure
too.
where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now
Where
is a
is
bit
the
of
blue
music to
and
lighten
red
the mood.
room that they mention as the clue? You know, there is a clue that mentions something that looks a bit like that. And I thought it was the original room. Like the big cargo room. Okay. Still no collectible yet, though. Stanley. I really like this room because of this right here. Wait, it's not there. It didn't do it. In the base game, this spot here is an endless hallway. It's gone, though. Not an endless hallway. It's just
cut
like
the
a
music.
weird
Go
sort of
back
thing.
and look at that fern.
Yeah, and then
Stanley, this
was from the
fern
base game
will
too.
be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
we never saw anything about the fern again, which also makes me think I may have missed an ending.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No,
We are.
No.
And we will go
Lying.
that way
You
in a
do know we're
moment.
looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Okay, check this
Still
room.
missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
Back this way. Okay, yeah, so this is going to open up that third door.
Not
The
again.
red door.
Line,
It is
how
a
could
red
you have done this to
door.
us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you...
I still wish I could read
can't take
Clippy
this
up there.
anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Okay, here we are again.
You know
This
what,
time.
Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Sure.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a
Okay.
choice.
Blue room.
We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
They both went to the same room. This is the confusion
Hold up,
ending.
what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really
I don't think
how
we ever
all
found a
this
bookstore.
goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on.
How do we
I don't want to be
find a
trapped
blue,
like this. I won't
yet red
restart the game. I
room?
won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Jeez.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Oh, this is different. The bucket is back. You know, I have one more thing to try.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on it. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
One thing in the meeting
Perhaps
room,
he wanted to stop by the
it
employee
said
lounge
that
first, just to
no
admire
buckets
it.
were allowed. And where did we find a sign that said no buckets? It was,
But eager to get back to
off
business,
this way.
Stanley took the first open door on his
And
left.
when we went there with the bucket, you know, it shut the door in our face, and then
Stanley
we went
was
through
so
that whole
bad
thing
at
of,
following
is this a bucket
directions,
or is
it's
this not a
incredible he
bucket?
wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Oh, wait a second.
Give me a chance.
Ha!
Now listen carefully, this is... And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly.
Stiggly
Savor this
Wiggly.
moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something
I'm
just for the
savoring
sake
it.
of doing
I am
it.
savoring it.
Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements,
The wall
you've
said there will
insisted
be a
that a
reward.
job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
I don't remember which doorway I took last time we were here.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me.
I must
You
have
see
taken
that
blue.
I really have wanted you to be happy all this time. The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing
I don't think
right
I ever
now.
saw this part.
Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution.
Stopped.
Here, let me show you.
Okay.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
This is definitely different.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think
There's one more
feel
door.
happy.
Wait, there.
I actually feel happy.
think we should stand here, though, although this might be an ending if we don't move. Look at all the colors. You know, Bomber, I do not have a Discord. Is that something you think I should set up? Is anything else going to happen here? I mean, it's probably telling us we should probably go through that doorway. Oh, the lights are going away. We might just get more lights. Okay, what happens if we, like... Okay, we cannot step off.
No, wait. Where are you going?
What if I go back now?
Right. Where were we?
Yeah, I don't think there's an ending here. I think this is, yeah, we gotta leave.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
So, so Bomber, on the topic of a Discord, right? I will say I did actually think about it before. However, I'm not sure if I really wanted to set one up yet, because I don't know how much work it would be to potentially moderate the channels and whatnot.
Let
I'm
me
not
stay
sure
here.
if I would even need to do that. But if you think it would be a
Please,
cool
Stanley,
idea,
think about what you're doing.
I could definitely try setting one up. I think it would be helpful for potentially giving people alerts to when I'm live or my schedule or things like that. I am also using Twitter, but the Discord would probably be easier to keep track of. Also, I think we have to die. I think I have to jump.
No!
Oh, we didn't die.
Thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Yes, but what happens if I jump again? Oh, it's all red now.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Okay, I'm not gonna move. Hands off the controls. We've stopped moving. Let's see if anything happens. Schedule notification? Yeah, okay. So if you use Twitter, I do usually post on Twitter when I'm going live, but, you know, the Discord, I mean, I could post to both at the same time. Currently, I'm trying to do Mondays and Fridays as, like, definite days. Days in between, I'm using a little bit for YouTube things. But that also leaves open if any of those days in between I want to stream, I can as well. Yeah, waiting till it's maybe a little bigger too. Right? If I actually had like a moderator or something like that, right, that might ease the burden or the concern of having the Discord too. Not sure. I don't think anything's happening here. We're gonna have to jump again.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this. No. No, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
So also, I'm streaming earlier today than I normally would. I have basically half days the next few Fridays, and then I'm going back to my normal work schedule, in which case it'll be 5 p.m. Eastern U.S. time again. So it'll be sort of back to later streams on Fridays. Here we go. Jump number 2.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Better
My
jump a
God.
3rd time.
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
No, you're not. It's just, I don't think anything else was going to happen in the other room, Mr. Narrator.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
I wonder if this ending was in the base game and I totally missed it, because I think I only went down to that room once and I think I took the blue door.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Yes, we're going back. We need to check the meeting room now that we have all the collectibles. Wait.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't
Over
it
there.
just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Okay. Back to the memory zone we go. What happens if we go back through? Nothing, okay. Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Okay, so what will be different? This is all... Oh, this box is gone. This wasn't here before. We definitely went directly through this doorway. Oh, really? A similar style game. Dr. Langskov, the Tiger, and the Terribly Cursed Emerald. A Whirlwind Heist. Is it on Steam? Or do I need to find it somewhere else?
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Can I collect it again? 7 out of 6! Alright then. The executive bathroom, right, there was another one in here.
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Collected. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check it out. It might be something fun. And if it's short, we might be able to do it in like one day,
Okay,
which would even be
let's
great.
do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
Where I found my third one was the boss's office.
Hey,
right back
that's
here.
exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You
9 out
picked
of
it up,
6.
and then after that, you had 3 of them.
Yep,
I'm
true.
glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Okay, here we go. Oh, it's free. Great.
Let's see, what came next? Oh, yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
No,
Oh, well,
no, we
I can't
didn't.
actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
This room didn't exist anywhere. Does something bad happen if we take it? Well, we're gonna take it. Okay, let's move on. Next room. Random box area. Okay.
This was the fifth mini stand, and this one was really something special.
Yeah, we definitely
it was
got this
in
one.
The warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
This is ridiculous. Low resolution. Like a, Oh, was this actually me looking at it? It might have been. You found it near the cargo lift. Thanks for watching. It's like a recruiter video or something. Yeah, it's like a PowerPoint recruiter slideshow. Copyright the narrative.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Wait, what was that sound? Okay. Oh, something new down here, alright. Yeah, this was the final
Stanley,
one I found.
Then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others.
Yep,
Who
true.
can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Okay, they both go to the same room this time, it looks like. Yep. You are in the present.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment.
Where the
Nothing
camera.
left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory
Trippy.
zone.
There we go. Okay.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
All right then. Hey, the fern! The fern showed up again. Okay. The past.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this.
Oh, we're gonna
I
get
must say, of
them all
the
again.
figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory
13
zone,
out of 6.
This one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
We're just gonna get an unlimited amount of figurines.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Ooh, it's on super speed.
Yes, I love that video.
Interesting sound effect again. The weird pink room.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them.
This
I'm
is
very
the
glad
reward.
we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Certainly the reward. Alright, so what would have happened? Right, he's gonna want us to go that way, but what would have happened had we gone this way? Nothing? Dead end? Also, I wonder, had I actually collected them in a different order? Right, because he did ask me which was the third collectible I found. Let's say this one was the third collectible. I wonder if things would have changed.
This was our second Figley, don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figlarines. Oh, I want more memories,
18
Stanley.
out of 6.
I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Collect them all. Hey. This is a pseudo portion of the big exhibit room. Hey, it's the jumping circle.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember
still
hating
can't
it back
jump.
then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Purple? Kind of purple looking. On my screen, at least.
Oh,
back to
yes,
the original
the
2 doors.
2 doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Do they go to the same place? They do. And then back to our office.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
I feel like we're close to the end of the game. It's going to be the title screen, right?
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story.
One
of a
more
man
run,
named
and then he'll
Stanley.
retire him for good. So, is this the final run? The end is never the end, though, as we clearly see. We are still in Game 2, right? Because the blue balloons are there. Let's just run it real quick and see if there's a difference here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You know, should we take the bucket? We can't leave if we take the bucket, though. Man. I don't know. Let's not take the bucket. New content doors closed.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Sounds like he wants us to do, like, the run.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible.
I forgot, if you enter it too
he didn't even have
fast.
a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Yeah, you make him mad.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed
Yes,
for a few
much
moments
thinking, right?
with some calming New Age music.
We got to think about how the game programmer would have decided what is and what shouldn't be a path that gets to an ending,
Feeling
right?
soothed and rejuvenated.
If we don't take the
Stanley
bucket,
calmly
we
walked
might just be
forward
going back to
into
the original
open
ending of the game,
passageway.
in which case we won't see the, maybe the final ending? Again, we don't know if there even is one. This might slightly just be a trick to get us to go back through it again, right? But here we are.
Stanley
Getting
walked
close.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
I do wish that we
Did
could
he
speed
have the
this
strength
room up
to
just a
find
little
out?
bit. It is a little long, waiting for the platforms and everything.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay.
This mind
I don't think we're
going
gonna try the countdown
It was
room.
too horrible to believe.
If we were
it
going to try the
couldn't be
countdown
true.
room, I should
Had
have brought
Stanley
the
really been
bucket
under
with me, because we
someone's
haven't tried
control all this
countdown
time?
since I had the bucket.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with
and this is the
emotions.
countdown room. This is the
Happy
one if we say
or
yes,
sad
turn everything
or
on, this is going to
content.
blow up on
Walking,
us.
eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine...
Okay. So in the base game, this is the... You get to leave the facility, which might happen again here.
blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
I think this is the original
Where
ending.
had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed
I
from
don't
the
think there's
machine's
anything new here
grasp?
yet.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new
It is
path
also
before
possible
him.
that saying that
This was exactly the way
Stanley should
right
go through
now,
one more
that
before
things
retiring
were
him.
meant to happen.
Maybe it was just supposed to be
And
relive
Stanley
again the original
happy.
portion of the game, and then with the game, save, know that you've completed it. See. We'll see if anything else happens to show up here now. Yeah, nothing different here. So, there's one other thing I want to do, and that is we quit the menu, and then when we come back in, we need to tell it 3:44. That is the time. That is the time that was on the picture. And I wonder if something interesting is going to happen. So we're going to try that. I believe you'll just get a black screen. I mean, I'll still be here. Okay, we're going to quit desktop. I'm going to hit play again. And you know, it never said, was it 3:44 a.m. or 3:44 p.m.? We're just going to do 3:44. Should have gone the other way. 3:44, confirm. Ah! 3:44 a.m., your favorite time of day? Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? It's not the correct time. After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now, I'm curious how accurate 3:44 a.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 3:44 a.m.? Quite inaccurate. It's not like opposite though, so it's just mostly inaccurate. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Alright, so now we know we have to close and restart the game. What are we gonna get this time? Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. You know, we did actually do this one. I could have swore before, and I'm gonna just put it here. Please adjust the slider until the dog and the cat are friends. Yeah, the end is never the end. You are absolutely right. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. Whoa. Alright, so hey, that is a 9. What happens if we select something that's wrong or tangentially related? I'm gonna do 9, like the Roman numeral, which was over here somewhere. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Okay, done. Which of the two made-up words below is most appealing to you? Occuboinkle or scrumtush? Scrumtush sounds kinda dirty. It made me laugh the most, so we're going with that. Please don't adjust the slider. Okay, we didn't touch it. Do you know what time it is right now? I do. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. What time is it anyway? Oh, this isn't a yes or no question. Or, sorry, what is time anyway? Time is no. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yeah, there's plenty of things. Help? Yes. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. Okay, that will you come back to visit me is just telling me that I have to quit and restart again. Because we can only visit the sliders when we start the game. Developed by Crows. You don't see that. OBS doesn't seem to pick it up right away, but... What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all of the game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now, the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. And I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. I really assumed that. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. No, not all of them. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There is still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. Okay, if we remember, back in the demo of like the new features for the game, right? There was a door that we couldn't open that said the settings master. There's one more setting we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's really not in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again, if you can find me. If you can find me, talk soon. Epilogue? That's new. Man, how many people missed out on this, right? How many people are gonna go, I'm gonna keep restarting the game to adjust sliders and then find this? It's kind of clever. Gotta click the epilogue. Epilogue. What will we see in the epilogue? Many, many years later. Whoa! Okay. We're in the desert. Let's walk towards the sun. So I don't see anything else to do here. Just off the wall. Here we go. Zoned. Campfire and an office chair. You know, need that. Found some wood somewhere. Do we sit by the fire? Roast a marshmallow like it's the Outer Wilds? Okay, I think we're gonna keep moving on. I imagine you have to just move so far from spawn to, yeah. Get another jump. Hey, it's a lot of office furniture. Oh, my headset is beeping at me. You can still hear me and hear the game, but I can't hear anything. Okay, I can hear stuff now. Hopefully nothing interesting happened sound-wise. Okay. Keep, spawning or jumping into different time periods, right? Different times of day. Oh, hey, this is the doorway to the memory zone. And that is the hut at the memory zone. There's a generator outside, so it's got power, of course. Man, I really expected this game to be over already. I didn't expect there to be this whole thing here. Yep, it's on. I can hear it running. Stanley Parable 2! In loving memory of the Stanley Parable 2. Down we go. What is this? Cookie Nine's blog. Okay. So in the beginning, when we were in a section, we were going through Steam reviews, and one of them was Cookie Nine, who said that there should be a skip button. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? I really liked the infinitely deep hole. Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting, a welcome reprieve from something. A cat dog is born. Scientists confirm hybrid species. Okay then. Weird shine on that rock. Moving on, away from Cookie Nine's blog. Stanley Parable developers. No more spin-offs, no more sequels. Get on the green. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Alright, we got a whole bunch of buttons. Are these the name button?
Jim.
Great.
Jim.
That's just great.
Jim.
Just great. Okay, more figurines. You know we can always use more figurines. Stanularines? 19 out of 6! Oh my goodness, they're still collecting up. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Okay, this is probably the infinitely dug hole or whatever. Deep hole. Maybe? And we're in the room with the two doors, and it's different. Thank you for enjoying the new content. I did enjoy the new content. What do we got back here? We got a computer. Hello again. Ah, we have found the person who controls the settings. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise. What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we're going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also need a really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. The Stanley Parable 3. Let's see. Crocodile. I feel like, oh, we can't select 427? Oh, we can't select anything on the left until we select something on the... Sorry, can't select anything on the right until we select something on the left. This probably doesn't matter what we select here. But, I mean, we are 427. That is Stanley. I feel like we need to do a whisper of 427. And in Stanley Parable 3, you're not Stanley, but you're following in his footsteps or something like that, right? And we keep seeing something about 427 having been there. That's the whisper. The Stanley Parable 3, a whisper of 427? It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end, and nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content, recycled again and again and again, with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. No, don't do it. I understand, sometimes we're not ready to move on. That's fine. If you ever change your mind and want to start inventing new sequels, come talk to me. I'll be right here. Oh, we didn't even get to keep 3. Oh, I should have said yes. I don't feel like running through the whole epilogue again. I think we did probably actually exhaust everything. The only thought I have is there might be something additional if we exhaust the amount of numbers we could possibly generate on the game, but that might take a while. Or it might be if you exhaust the amount of name combos that you can create at the end there. But I think unfortunately, again, because I'm just sharing the full screen, we can't see the achievements. Let me just read the achievements that I haven't gotten yet. There is the test achievement, please ignore, the one that they mentioned in the game. There's a commitment for playing the game for an entire duration of a Tuesday. There's one that says a whole bunch of 8s, and it has like a button of a button with the number 8 on it, and there is a button with the 8 in the countdown room. I bet you if we hit that a bunch of times, it'll trigger that achievement. Click on door 430 5 times. What a weird achievement. Speedrun is completing Stanley Parable in under 4 minutes, 22 seconds, not including load times. Interesting. I feel like because you have to wait so long for those walkways to raise up and everything, that 4 minutes and 22 seconds is probably really close to being the fastest you could do it. Settings World Champion. Set all setting sliders in the menu to all available numbers. That is Settings World Champion. I wonder if that really would have opened the door. And then there's one that says Super Go Outside. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. How about that? Alright, well I think we're going to call this game complete. Bomber, I am going to look up Dr. Langskov the Tiger and the Terribly Cursed Emerald, a whirlwind heist. Because if it's like this game, it's going to be a good time. And I think here we are at this point. This is a good point. I'm going to take a break. I'm probably going to go get dinner. And then in about an hour and a half, let's say, so maybe around 6:30 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll jump back on and we will continue our post-game questing in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So, hopefully, you'll come back and join me then. It's nice. It was nice having you here to hang out with this game. It was definitely fun to have your reactions to some of the craziness that happened here as well. So, if anyone wants to check out what happened on the first stream of this, that is over on the Merc Streams channel on YouTube. You can find, I guess, my whole playthrough of this game is going to be over there. So, this is Merc Serene signing off for now, but I'll be back a little bit later tonight. Quit to desktop. All right.